In one of the previous pages, I had mentioned about a surrogate key kind of in passing, but again, I'm trying to make sure you understand where my brain is going instantly too, so I'm hoping you learn from it. Now I go over a surrogate key. A surrogate key, when to consider it, is just when the primary key is just not suitable, or there just isn't one that's present or viable. For one of the examples was job code. In job code, you had your class and your change hour originally as we were doing things set up. So what job class is not a great, it was electrical engineer. The actual data itself wasn't great. Programmer, you could have several programmers. So the job class really wasn't a great idea to have as a key. So what we did was we added a surrogate key called job code instead. Now, I'm a little bit, first, take a look at what we did here. So now we have job code as a key. That's going to be related to our job description and job charge hours. I keep wanting to say change, but it's charge hours. But anyway, but a couple of things here. Number one, fine, I'm okay with the surrogate key. But what I'm not crazy about is the job code by itself. It shows you that it starts at like 500 and stuff like that. But if you do it in your database, the value is always going to be a integer value that starts at 1. It's always going to be managed by the DBMS, so you don't have to keep track of it, and it's always going to be unique. And it's literally going to iterate. So if there's another type of a job, a C programmer, a database designer, let's say florist for some reason, I don't know. But anyway, that would be job number 12 after the first 11. And again, starting at number 1. So I want you to understand that the 500 part that you see here, that's kind of random. It's really going to be done by the database itself. It's going to be just like a for loop. It'll start at 1 and increment each time. If I delete a job from there, fine. It doesn't worry about going back. It just adds another 1 to it as the overall surrogate key. So this is where your surrogate key would be a good spot. But again, I want to make sure you understand that you don't get to pick, I'm not sure of that. In your DBMS, you may be able to set where the surrogate key, if it's a primary key and it's a numeric, you might get to set it to a certain value. You'll have to check that. I remember the ones I did, they weren't, but it didn't make sense that you couldn't. So I bet yours might. So just a food for thought.